Don't you hate wrestling with predictability? The garbage man, the sexy boy, boring ass TV? How did I get to work in here? Somebody tell me, please. The WWF is confusing to me. With Vince as mean as you've ever seen. I told old Patterson I'm done here in June. When a sudden voice inside me whispered, Vinny, don't sell your dream so soon. And everywhere I look, there's a Ted with a hand to hold on to. And everywhere I look, there's a place and a promotion who needs you. And it's there you'll book when you're lost out there and you're all alone. And WCW's waiting to carry you home. It's there you'll book. And it's there I'll book. A doobity-ba-ba-ba, headed to Atlanta and listen to this podcast. It's all right, even though it fucking makes fun of everything I've ever done. Backbone Wrestling Network, welcome to episode 39 of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? As always, I'm Scott Shiflett. Logan Crossland's here with me, the backbone guys. And for these pay-per-views, I didn't really plan on having guest hosts, but it sort of fell into. And our guest host now is probably our biggest fan. I know he's the biggest fan of YouTube Roulette, and he's probably the biggest fan of this podcast. And it's a man who loves 2000s WCW. If you listen to NoSo or PTBN, he has a podcast there. He was just like the star of the Christmas play. And that is James Gruenberg, a.k.a. Grooney. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
Guys, I am doing well, and I am now the president of the Ready to Rumble fan club, and we just had our annual viewing of the movie at the abandoned Blockbuster. Oliver Platt was our special guest, by the way.
Well, I'm glad that Jimmy King was able to show up and grace you with his presence. I hope that he crowned you, Grooney, just you.
Oh,
he didn't
yeah.
have to crown anyone else, just you.
Nope.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, and I enjoy this pay-per-view, and I feel personally that this pay-per-view, it might be better than the Great American Bash. It's better as far as the New Blood versus Millionaire story, and especially with the build-up opening that we get at the beginning here as well. Now, I don't understand why they had to show the Thunder from 3 days. It's like they were saying, oh, let's forget about this pay-per-view and just go to the Great American Bash, okay?
Yeah, and also, as me and Logan talked about on our last episode, Millionaires Club beat the New Blood, shut them out. They won every match. Flair even won the Battle Royal at the end, and they even had weapons, and somehow they still came out on top. They showed Savage again. So, I was really expecting to see the New Blood just dominate, which, they win just about every match, but also we see Swerve's bro just about every time with run-in, especially with the back end of the pay-per-view. I think there's a run-in or something happening after every match. It felt like almost an episode of Nitro at certain points, but we'll get to that. But yeah, let's kick this show off, guys. We're at the Kemper Arena in Kansas City. It is May 7th, 2000. We are 8 days away from my 11th birthday, for you guys keeping track at home. So that's right. There will be a Nitro that happened on my birthday, which I did not watch. But as Grueny, hey, this was when I was out on WCW at the time. I peeked back in to get the Great American Bash, which I'll tell that story once we get there. But my parents looked at me after the Sting match and said, "We're not ordering you this shit ever again." So that was the last WCW pay-per-view I ordered. Yeah, so like with that happened, but yeah, so like I said, it's May 7th. We see highlights of Thunder, which Grueny just spoke about, and the winner of the Battle Royal getting the world title shot, which they specifically state for Great American Bash again. Well, and then we see the Abomination Battle Royal, as I called it, and Savage returning and Flair winning. We then see a tour bus pull up, and out comes the Millionaire Club getting off the bus. And then we see the New Blood watching list. Eric was saying, "We will finish the war tonight." He also said the Millionaire Club started the war on Wednesday, which is like, what the hell's been happening for the last month, Lynn, that me and Logan have been watching. I was like, well, that's a lie. They do highlight videos for Shane and Flair, Sting and Vampiro, Billy Kidman versus Hogan, and then the triple threat of David Arquette versus DDP versus Jeff Jarrett. And Tony actually says how the New Blood got their ass beat on Wednesday. So, like, it's weird that they included like Shane and Flair, because I definitely felt like it's been Flair and Russo. And Billy Kidman versus Hogan, I think me and Logan both agreed that it should have been Mike Awesome versus Hogan. Definitely would have been a better match than what the squash that we'll see later. But yeah, we'll get to all these. But what do you guys think of this opening and Eric Bischoff trying to rewrite history? Logan, you go first.
Yeah, I mean, it felt very Nitro-esque with all the jumping back and forth to the different locker rooms and the Millionaires Club showing up. Obviously shoot to the New Blood locker room, kind of watching everything going. But yeah, it sets up the big matches for the night. Like we said, we kind of just had the Thunder where where the New Blood got cucked pretty bad. I guess I'll say they got pretty dominated on that episode. So you would hope that based on that things would be a little bit different tonight. But in some areas it is, but in some areas it's also kind of still the same way. So we'll see how it goes. We'll talk about it throughout the night. But Grueny, what do you think about the opening?
I liked it. It has been building up to what is going to transpire here, and it has been building up like the war between the New Blood and the Millionaires Club. And I like didn't highlight all the matches, obviously, but it did highlight the important ones, especially like with Shane Douglas and Ric Flair. It starts off with the for 7 years Flair and all this, and it's just that everything's going to, turn out to be for what it is tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of one feud that I wish would just die on the vine, and it seems like it's been going forever. It's actually this match one, guys, which is it's for the Cruiserweight title. It's Chris Candido with Tammy versus the Artist with Paisley. This has been more about the women, and it's just like, it's not even so bad it's good. It's like so bad, like I want to change the channel, and I realized I can't. But so when Chris and Tammy come out, Tammy gets on the mic and says, "This is Kansas City, Missouri. This is the show me state." I don't know if that's right. Tammy says, "Fellas, how about I show you mine, and then you owe me more?" And she does a strip tease that she had on like a Ric Flair robe, and she just has a short dress on underneath, like she's going to a club. Artist music hits, thankfully, and Paisley and him come out. Madden says Cruiserweight and Trance is wrestling, and Tony is like, "Hey, relax. Keep it in your pants, old man. You pervert." But the bell rings, and the men circle each other. We get a collar and elbow tie up, and the Prince gets a headlock. Chris sends him in the corner, and then he does an Irish whip, and Chris gets a leapfrog, and then he goes for a pin and gets two on an inside cradle. Artist then hits a German suplex and gets two. Artist punches Chris in the corner and gets 10 punches in the corner. Artist sends Chris over the top rope. Artist follows and attacks Chris on the floor and tries to send him into a guardrail. Then they do a triple reversal, and Artist actually is the one that eats the guardrail. Chris goes up top and actually dives onto the floor. off the turnbuckle to the floor, but Artist hits him with an elbow. They battle around ringside. Chris sends Artist into they have a long entrance wrap, which is, if you watch WCW like 1990 and 1991, that's what the entrance ramp is like tonight. And he lays him on it. Chris grabs a steel chair and tries to pile drive him on the chair on the entryway, but Artist reverses it and drop Chris on his back. They get in the ring now, and then Artist hits a baseball slide and then a hurricanrana. Chris gets up first from this, and he gets him in a headlock, and then he just drug on him, like he got him there for a 2 count, with the headlock with the 2 arms dropping. Chris then picks up the Artist and chops him in the corner. Artist reverses the chops and punches him in the corner. Artist sends Chris into the rope, but Chris reverses and throws Artist outside the ring again. Paisley checks on the Artist. Then Chris tries to suplex Artist back in the ring, but Artist reverses and suplexes Chris out of the ring onto the floor, which was pretty disgusting. When Chris gets back in the ring, Artist gets a snapmare and gets 2. Chris hits a low blow right in front of the ref. Then he punches the Artist and sends him to the ropes. Chris bends over so he can do a leapfrog, but Artist just power bombs him. Then went for a stupid jumping DDT, but Chris catches him and puts him on the turnbuckle for a super hurricanrana, but the Artist just holds on. Artist, it gets real sloppy right here when Artist then dives over Chris, and but he overshoots him, and Chris tries to roll him up and gets 2. Artist then picks up Chris and hits a back body drop on him. Artist then hits him with a clothesline. Artist picks up Chris, and Chris finger pokes Artist, and then he slams him, and then Chris goes up top, and the Artist hits him with the middle rope Samoan drop, which actually looked kind of decent. Tammy then distracts the ref. Paisley chases after Tammy, and Paisley then pulls on Tammy's hair. And somehow when this happens, I don't really know, guys, if you can explain it, Tammy gets the chair that was on the entrance ramp and hits the Artist with it, and Chris pins for what I thought was the win because the music goes off. The ref says it's 2, so the music stops. Chris then pile drives Artist and goes up top, and he hits a diving headbutt, and it's over finally. After the match, Chris and Tammy celebrate. Paisley gets in the ring and attacks Tammy. Paisley hits Chris in the nuts. Artist grabs Tammy by her hair, and they rip off Tammy's dress. This drunk bitch is just wearing Spanx, and Artist and Paisley celebrate after this clusterfuck of a match. Grooney, was there anything good in this match? You can find happiness in this shit, so try to find me some happiness, buddy.
I guess the only happiness was I don't even think if you can call it happiness. The one thing that looked cool in the match was when Candido took that suplex from the Artist to the outside. It's like, oh boy, that was hurtful. And then basically everything else in the match was so sloppy. Candido misses that cross body botch by Candido. It's like, what the heck was that? And even the fans were like, oh, you guys suck. This is terrible. Obviously the Artist forgets to kick out, and we're like, I don't even know if he was supposed to kick out. What was the finish? But again, it was off there. And then I don't know if you guys heard it during the match, but I felt like I was hearing a vacuum cleaner, and I thought somebody was vacuuming the confetti while the match was going on.
No, I definitely heard it too, Grooney. I thought it was my TV was messing up. I paused it and everything. I was like, what the hell is going on? And nope, it was just whatever it was. It's sort of like we had a Nitro after Jarrett won the titles where they had all the balloons fall, and all you could hear during the first promo is just the popping of the balloons.
Yeah, it was it was consistent.
Yeah, and this is sort of like what it was, but this was so bad. And Logan, before I get to you, on Wrestling Warzone, JT talks about how Prince is the worst wrestler ever, and I thought he was just being mean. I truly believe Prince Ikea, the Artist, is one of the worst wrestlers on the national stage that we've
He's not a cruiserweight either. You could have gotten Lash LaRue and it would have made more sense.
Yeah, but he's in MIA, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's fired. Got it at this time. Yeah, Shane helps. Anybody else but Prince, though. That's all I can say.
Pretty much. Throw Evan Courageous in there, and he sucks. But Logan,
I don't know if that's an improvement. One of my notes is I think old Taft Cappy's problem is he has the thought to do a lot of these cool things that he tries to do, but he's not quite talented enough to actually execute them or do most of the cool things that he thinks he's athletic enough to do. So he's got the right mind for what he wants to do, but he's just either bigger than the smallness he needs to be able to execute the cool offense that he wants to do, or he's just not in the right shape or whatever that he needs to be in. But he does hit a pretty cool German suplex at one point. I thought that was a pretty nice suplex that he executed there. The nasty kind of suplex bump to the outside by Candido that Gruny mentioned. We're starting a thing throughout the night of no DQs, apparently in any match. So we get a low, well, we do get one actually, but we get a low blow right in front of the ref, does absolutely nothing. So apparently we're doing no DQs in these matches tonight. So, but yeah, there's a point when old Taff Gappy almost brains Candido on a botched powerbomb attempt. He almost absolutely drops him on his neck and head. But that kind of starts the sloppiness. After that, it doesn't seem like they're on the same page, and it seems like it kind of goes off the rails. It definitely felt like the chair shot was supposed to be the finish, and artists just kicked out accidentally or whatever, because obviously Candido has to go from there and hit the pile driver and flying headbutt. But yeah, it definitely felt like the finish was supposed to be the chair spot, and it just got miscommunicated somehow. But yeah, like I said, once we got to that almost deadly power bomb, it felt like it kind of went off the rails.
Yeah, and this is just one feud that it's just an excuse for Mark Madden to scream cat fight like he's Joey Styles, and I just want it to die. Like, hopefully this is the end of it. Like, but I feel it's not. But yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad. But thankfully we're done with them for the night. So we go to the announce table, and Tony tells us how we have the 3 cages, and he says cage 2 is the hardcore cage and cage 3 is the guitar cage. I just have a note saying, what are we doing? Mark Madden says Arquette being the world champion is a disgrace. He is right about that. And then Tony talks about the 2-on-1 hardcore match, says that Terry Funk is middle-aged and crazy. And then we see this highlight video, and it's literally of Terry Funk just getting ever-loving shit beat out of him. That's all it is. This man gets no offense in these videos, which that's all we've seen is Terry Funk get his ass beat. But this leads us to match 2, which is Norman and a mystery partner versus Terry Funk. I'm not going to reveal who the mystery partner is until they reveal it in the match, so that's what we'll go. So the match, quote unquote, starts, and we see Funk backstage, and he asks Doug Dillinger where Norman is. He says Norman is in the bathroom. Funk goes looking for him, but all he finds is the other person. This allows Norman to attack Funk, and he sprays him with the fire extinguisher. He drags Terry out of the bathroom and beats the hell out of him. He throws a trash can at him. Then the partner helps Funk get beat down as well. Smiley pins, but this just gets 2. Then Funk keeps getting beat with the trash can. Norman does this dance and just continues beating Funk with the trash can. Norman throws the trash can lid at him and puts a table on him. Norman puts the trash can on Funk, puts the trash can over Funk, and he starts beating it with the chair. And then Terry grabs a hold of Norman and throws him into the Mean Gene set, which just falls apart. Then the mystery partner is on some carpet and he's throwing shit at Funk. And then Funk, in this 1 in a million shot, because he keeps trying to do it again, fucking chucks a chair behind him and it nails the mystery partner. Fucking full flush. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know how the mystery partner didn't fall. Funk then climbs on the carpet and the mystery guy hits Funk with a trash can. Tony tells us the carpet is actual artificial turf for the indoor soccer team, which I doubt they're still around. Norman climbs up too, but Funk kicks him off and he goes through a table, which was a pretty cool spot. Funk hits him with the trash can, then pins for a 2. Funk smashes Norman between 2 carts that they had. Norman throws a safety sign at Funk. They're just back to battle walking right now. Funk is thrown into crates. Norman pins him for 2. And then Funk just brains Norman with a chair while the mystery partner is watching. And they're even what the announcer's what the hell is he doing? Funk slams Norman and gets 2. The mystery partner finally hits Funk with some trash cans. They battle over to a table, and Funk beats down Norman and puts him on the table. Funk then drags the mystery partner to the arena. And Madden actually has a good line here. He says, I think it's Bubba the Love Sponge, but Madden says, no, he's with Hogan. And then Nick Patrick, that shitty ref from Starrcade 97, hands Funk a chair, and Funk hits the mystery guy with the chair. Funk drags him towards the ring. Then the catcher's mask finally falls off, and we see it's Ralphus. Ralphus' shirt's ripped off by now, and it's a lot of fat thrown around here. Then Norman comes down, and he throws a ladder at Funk, and Ralphus' pants is halfway off during all this. Norman pins Funk and gets 2. Norman throws a ladder again at Terry, and then he grabs a chair and hits him. Norman goes for the big wiggle and does it, but Norman blocks the chair shot that Terry had tried to do a reverse chair shot, but he blocks it. Ralphus says he wants to do the big wiggle, and then Funk hits Ralphus with a chair, then hits Norman with one, then he hits Norman again with the chair, and then Norman gets up and checks on Ralphus, but allows Funk to roll him up for the pin. Funk holds up the title and he leaves the ring. Ralphus and Norman then do the big wiggle, and this was just a typical shitty WCW hardcore match. Nothing here, Logan. Like, Ralphus being the surprise guy, I guess, is a product of the time. I know he was with Jericho and he had been with Norman before, but like, I don't care. This was just like weird comedy spot, and it makes me wonder if Ralphus is dead or not. I figured Gurney would know the answer, so I'll have to see once he does his review. But Logan, what do you think?
I'm fairly positive we've looked that up before, and I'm pretty sure he is dead, but I'm not 1,000% sure. But I do like that Funk kind of gets bamboozled in the bathroom to kind of start the match, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, Ralphus being the mystery partner was definitely not something I was expecting. Obviously, Funk at one point shows Ralphus's ass to the entire world, which is not something anyone needed to see. I love that Funk sells the big wiggle. Like, he's getting the big wiggle from Norman, and he's like, and like actually selling it and stuff like that. But this is a mess. Ralphus probably shouldn't be in a wrestling ring. Probably shouldn't be involved in the business whatsoever. But he is somebody that exists and is going to continue to exist. But yeah, Funk did his good job in this match of getting the shit beat out of him. But it was ultimately a huge mess, and probably something that could have been left off the pay-per-view. But Grooney, what'd you think? And is Ralphus alive?
No, Ralphus is dead. Jericho is the one who broke that story. He said that Ralphus was dead, and this match is what it is. Like, Norman Smiley is not the. It doesn't seem like he's the best opponent for Funk, and you'll see more opponents for Funk, maybe one involving a stable and a horse eventually. But I loved how all the security members pointed at the bathroom like he's in there. Like, they all sold Norman House like he's in there. Ralph is trying to hit Funk with cardboard boxes. What did you think was going to happen? And then why does Nick Patrick hand Funk a chair? He's like, oh, here you go, hit him with this. It's like, why?
Yeah, like, it's just insane. But no, yeah, thanks for. I wasn't sure if he was dead. I figured we would see him at a WrestleCon. If he was still alive, I would have paid for you to meet him, Grinning. Yeah, but that I guess RIP Ralphus. You probably made more money than I did just doing nothing. So there we go. So this leads us to match. We see a limo pull up and David Arquette shows up. David says DDP doesn't think that I'm a sports entertainer. And Mean Gene asked if David is scared, and David said he is very scared. So a little bit of maybe issues we have between David Arquette and DDP. So like I said, this leads to match 3, which is Sean, the perfect one, Stasiak versus Kurt Hennig. They both come out, bell rings, and they circle each other. Collar and elbow tie up once again, and Sean gets an arm drag. Then he releases, and we get another collar and elbow tie up, and Sean gets a hip drop. Sean gets a knee to the gut and then starts punching him. Kurt gets a hip toss and then a scoop slam. Kurt kicks Sean out of the ring, and Kurt celebrates like he just beat Shawn Michaels and not bum ass Sean Stasiak. Sean gets back in the ring and they circle each other. Sean gets a side headlock, and Kurt fights out, but Sean cinches it in. Kurt tries to fight out, but can't. Kurt pushes Sean in the ropes. Sean then hits a crossbody and gets 2. Sean gets an outside to the inside sunset flip for 2, which was pretty nice. And they get up and Kurt starts chopping Sean and then throws him in the ropes and hits a punch to the stomach, then a knee lift. And then we see members of MIA, Lash, LaRue, Chavo Guerrero, and Van Hammer sitting in the crowd. Sean and Kurt fight outside the ring. Sean slams Kurt on the announce table and he starts choking Kurt with the cable and then punches him. Sean rolls Kurt back in the ring. Sean goes up top and hits a top rope clothesline. This gets 2. Sean picks Kurt up and throws him in on the entranceway. Kurt tried to slam Sean on the entranceway, but stopped due to back issues. So Sean takes advantage and throws Kurt back in the ring. He gets a sleeper hold. Kurt drops to the ground and gets his arm up on the third drop, which is a spot I love to this day. Kurt fights out, but Sean grabs Kurt by the hair and pulls him down. Sean then goes for a dive and misses. Sean tried for an axe handle, but Kurt hits him and then chops him and then hits back body drop. Kurt clotheslines Sean into the corner and then punches him. Sean's able to then get advantage and he catapults Kurt into the turnbuckle. I guess his head's supposed to hit the ring post, but we can't really see. Sean then hits a perfect plex and surprisingly gets a 3 count, which shocked me, guys. Relatively clean outside the choking of the cable. I didn't even count it as that, Logan, but like Kurt basically doing the JOB here, and Sean didn't need any help, which was nice. I know it's only 3 matches, but match of the night so far, it was pretty basic. If we did stars, it'd probably be like 2 and a quarter, but I'm glad that Kurt did the job for a new young person, even though I don't think Stasiak's the best, but still pretty good. Gurney, what did you think of this match?
It was all right. I'm surprised that you have it match of the night so far. I have another match that would be
it's just match of the night for the 3 matches we've seen so far.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. Sorry about that. As we've seen so far, this is better than the first 2. I was surprised that Sean Stasiak got the win here. I don't know how much this actually propels him going into the weeks to come. It kind of feels like they back off of Stasiak after this and was like, this is like his one shining moment, especially in the month of like May and June. I might be wrong, but I feel like this is like probably like his one shining moment so far. Kurt doing the job is a little weird. I thought he would get the win here.
Yeah, and I'm kind of shocked because they seem to be pushing Sean as the perfect one. Like he did like the free throw thing, which was pretty cool. Besides like his debut, which we come to find out that Kurt sandbagged him. So but yeah, it was just yeah, like I said, it's match of the night so far out of the 3 quote unquote matches we've had. But it'll be eclipsed soon. But nice showing for Stasiak. I'm a little bummed that nothing really comes out of it. That I guess we'll have to wait till the Natural Born Thrillers, which is news to me. Grooney, I don't remember any of this because I didn't watch some of it. So here we go. Logan, what did you think of this?
Yeah, I thought this. I mean, calling it match of the night so far is kind of damning with faint praise. But yeah, Stasiak saws a lot to start the match. They show the spot where the MIA are in the crowd, and they actually miss Hennig actually getting kicked out of the ring, so they completely ignore the match and just showed the 3 guys in the crowd at one point. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, it was just an average match. I mean, like you said, it's right down the middle, 2 stars, something in that range. But it was just pretty meh. Stasiak to me overall is pretty meh. I'm not sad to hear that they might not go with him very hard at any point. So, but yeah, I just, they're obviously presenting him as the perfect one. Of the people that they could have given a win to for New Blood tonight, I don't know that he's the one that I would have picked, but I'm not surprised he won. But it's good to see that they gave a win to somebody throughout the night, I guess, at least from the New Blood side.
Well, yeah, like we actually see the New Blood celebrating in the back, which was awesome. And then Vince says, "Scotty, baby, let's go 2 in a row," and slaps him on his back. And Scott says, "Keep your hands off of me." This man Jeff Jarrett's doing a pretty good job as the lead heel. This man should be the world champion right now.
Russo looked like he had just, like his girlfriend had just embarrassed him in front of the whole class or some shit like that. Like the hot girl turned down his asking her out on a date in the front of the entire class or something like that. When Steiner said, "Get your hands off me."
Yeah,
I thought that was hilarious.
Scott Steiner's just amazing.
I still don't know why he's in the New Blood. I mean, he's been in WCW for so long. Like it just doesn't make sense. Him and Buff in the New Blood don't make sense. And I mean, again, we're going to be seeing a different side of Booker T as well. But again, it was like, why is Booker there?
I think the only way they can justify it is that they've never really been pushed as main event talents, but it's that they're like way old or just as old as some of the people in the Millionaires Club or whatever, and it's just
exactly
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I've been talking throughout the pod, like they should have had like a sect of guys that like existed outside of the storyline, like Booker, like Scott, like maybe even Canyon. Canyon's been around for a while or something like that, so they can kind of exist elsewhere. But I don't think that's going to happen because I think the storyline is going to die sooner rather than later. So we'll see.
Like, I know we're going into this matchup here, but I like Hugh Morris not declaring himself in the Millionaires Club and just being an ally to the Millionaires Club. He's like, "Call me, I'm there."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they even said like their battle lines were drawn, quote unquote, on Wednesday because like MIA was like helping the Millionaires Club, but like it should have been like just the main people, like because also like why is Van Hammer in the New Blood too? The motherfucker been around since '91. I mean, he sucks. He's another worst wrestler, but like but it's just no reason. I mean, I have a feeling this New Blood Millionaires thing is probably gonna slowly die soon. I can't remember. No spoilers, Grooney.
I mean, go ahead, Grooney.
Oh, by the way, also one more thing I forgot to say. I'm going on a fact strike. I wanted Logan to deliver the bad news, but he failed. So if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Yeah, I'm going on strike for facts. I'm not even going to tell you what happens anymore because you're like, well, Grudy will just tell me anyway. Nope, no more. I'm sorry. I'm going on strike. Going on strike.
My favorite is like when I say something and Gurney's like, "Well, actually, Sid does come back here and here," and I'm like, "You motherfucker!"
Well,
that's funny.
Yep.
So we have match 4, U.S. title, which originally was supposed to be Booker T versus Scott Steiner. That was announced on One Nitro, but Booker T got hurt by Mike Awesome in the Mike Awesome match, so he got replaced by Hugh Morris. But before the match starts, Hugh gets on, humorous. Hugh gets on the mic and says he doesn't want to be called Hugh Morris anymore. The name was given to him by Eric Bischoff, and it was a brain fart. He says he wants to be acknowledged by his real name, Hugh G. Rection. Once again, Tim Capel trademark. What are we doing? He says, "You can call me Captain Rection for short." Like, we went from one brain fart to another. If his real name was really Hugh G. Rection, then fucking Eric Bischoff was like, I'll give you Hugh Morris. Like, that's better than your real fucking name that your parents saddled you with. But like, it's like Harry Ball or, something like that. Like, what are we doing? Yep. Like, it's like, just call him Captain Rection for short.
You basically go from Bischoff's brain fart to Russo's brain fart, if that's the way you're going to look at it, it's just absolutely absurd.
Which, as we learned, is a downgrade, Logan, a complete downgrade. So the freaks come out with Scott Steiner. There's 2 freaks tonight, Medeja and Shakira. Grooney, what was your favorite freak?
I'm going to say Medeja since she lasted longer than Shakira did.
Yeah, but Shakira doesn't look as plastic. That's all I'll say.
Shakira.
Yeah, Shakira was fine as fuck. I will say that. So was Medeja. But the Freaks hug Scott Steiner. Scott's arguing with the fans. He gets back in the ring. He argues again with the fans. Just amazing. This guy. I remember my stepdad used to always say, because remember laser pointers were big. There'd always be laser pointers on him. He's like, Scott Steiner's going to get shot one day, which to 10-year-old me was like, hey, that might happen with these fucking laser pointers. It's amazing that he was never shot. So the match starts. We get a collar elbow tie up. Scott punches Hugh in the corner and then chops him. Scott sends Hugh into another corner, but Hugh ducks a clothesline and chops Scott. Scott reverses an Irish whip, and then Hugh blocks a hip toss. Scott rolls out of the ring. The Freaks calm down Scott. The Freaks get on the apron and distract the ref and Hugh. This allows Scott to run around the ring, and he attacks Hugh from behind, and he's kicking him. Scott tries to slam Hugh, but he reverses and hits atomic drop. Hugh then hits a spinning heel kick, which I didn't know he could do because he's a bigger boy. But he got 2 from that. He gets a sidewalk slam, and then he goes up top and hits an elbow drop like he's Macho Man. Hugh went to go for the no laughing matter, which I guess it's no general matter now. I don't know. But the girl's crotch to Hugh, and he's hung upside
selection.
down. Sorry, that broke my brain. That's horrible. That's just horrible.
I'm totally kidding. That was just me spitballing.
I don't know, but it sounds like something they would do, Logan. So, God, that just broke my brain. So I was like, did Scott Hudson say that? Like, I was like, yeah. So anyway, and he's stuck in the tree of woe, and Scott's choking him. Scott then yells at MIA in the front row, and then he gets back in the ring and hits a clothesline and an elbow drop. He gets 2, and Scott yells at the ref. Scott then puts Hugh in the corner and then hits a back suplex. Scott's doing push-up. Then he chokes Hugh on the ropes. The Freaks slap Hugh. Scott hits a belly-to-belly, which I love Scott's belly-to-belly because it's like he's dancing with him, which I don't know if you guys noticed. It's like a thing of beauty. It's like he's doing a slow dance and he's throwing this motherfucker around that's like 300 pounds. That gets 2. Scott's mad and he chases the ref and screams that you suck. Scott hits, then kicks Hugh, and then he picks him up and puts him in a bear hug. This gets a 2. 2 drops of the arm, but on the 3rd drop, Hugh fights out. But then Scott hits an overhead belly to belly, which this man should not be fucking throwing overhead belly to bellies. Scott gets out of the ring and yells at the fans. He gets back in the ring and poses on the middle rope and tells the crowd, fuck you. Like I said, this man, just amazing. Scott sends Hugh in the corner, but he eats a big boot on the charge. Hugh chops Scott and then hits a big splash in the corner. This gets a 1 count. I'm sorry. Then he hits another one. He went for a 3rd one, but he ate a Steiner line. Scott hits a butterfly suplex. Scott then went for a tombstone, but Hugh reversed it and hit one of his own. He went for the erection selection, but the girls got in the way. He stopped for so long yelling at the girls that Scott was able to roll out of the way, but when he did his move, he still kicked Scott in the head. That was obviously not on purpose. Scott gets up and puts him in the Steiner recliner, and Hugh submits. After the match, Scott puts the Steiner recliner again on, but MIA and Russo's R&B security, which is Russo and Bischoff's security fight. This allows Booker T to run down and he fights Scott. Booker T checks in on Hugh. So Booker T is back. It definitely seems like these guys feuding over the U.S. title will help set them up to be main eventers, which I know we see in the late summer and fall. Pretty good match. Scott Steiner, just amazing. This man's a lunatic. I'm sure he's killed like 4 people in real life. But my God, him throwing around motherfuckers that are bigger than him always brings a smile to my face. But yeah, Logan, did you like this match as much as I did?
Yes, I did. I was kind of surprised, but yes, I definitely did. And if you think him throwing belly to bellies on giant bastards at this point is scary, just watched the Highway to the Impact Zone episode last night, and he threw one on Tyson Tomko, and it got a little dicey there for a second. So imagine 2007 Steiner doing an overhead belly to belly to somebody
that's insane,
that big. So it was definitely sketchy. The Freaks need to work on their timing a little bit. There was a point when you said Mr. Rection went up and hit a top rope elbow. I don't know which one of them it was, but they seemed to started to walk up the steps, but they didn't trip him up that time. But then he goes right back up and they trip him up. So I think they were actually supposed to trip him up on the first top rope spot, and they kind of gave it away on the first one. Steiner giving the bear hug to somebody actively taller than him or kind of the same size was pretty funny looking. But the belly to belly out of the bear hug was incredible. He absolutely drilled him with that one. Steiner has the surgically repaired neck. Kind of when we started the pod, he was out with the neck injury that was kind of maybe end his career. So the fact that he took the Owen Hart to Stone Cold Steve Austin tombstone there was pretty scary at that point. But and then the finish was solid, but he does end up kicking Steiner in the back of the head accidentally. So that did take away from it a little bit. But yeah, definitely match of the night by a mile so far. These guys seemingly have some good chemistry with each other. So and it's good to see Booker back in the aftermath. But Greeny, what did you think of this United States Championship match?
I liked it a lot. It's impressive, Scott Steiner's strength. I mean, I know he might be on the juice, who can really tell? I don't want him to murder me, but it's impressive him just lifting Hugh Morris, who was 350 at the time, just out of nowhere. And I will agree with you, Madeja and Shakira. I feel like it's more of Madeja not knowing her spots. Maybe Shakira was prone to how to be a manager and stop your opponent from doing moves. But it's Madeja was doing it. It's she did they did the push real slow. It's he's already jumping in midair, and now you're trying to stop him. What are we doing? Yeah, exactly. What are we doing? You're supposed to do it it's a fast motion. They were doing it so slow. I thought Steiner was going to murder Hugh Morris after taking the kick to the back of the head after that moonsault. It was it's oh boy, Steiner's going to get mad. He's nah, it was an accident. And yeah, we're just going to finish this match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this a lot. Match is starting to pick up, so we'll see. I think the next match is pretty decent as well, especially with the two people involved. One of those people is backstage with Mean Gene. Mean Gene says tonight is Canyon versus Mike Awesome. Canyon says DDP is his brother. Canyon says DDP taught him you don't get ahead by kissing ass, but by busting your ass, and walks away. This leads us to match 5, which is Mike Awesome versus Canyon. Awesome's out first. We see how Awesome has just been destroying people with the power bomb. I even have here it should have been Mike Awesome versus Hogan, which I said earlier tonight, but it should be. Canyon's out next. Canyon rushes him and ducks a clothesline, and he punches Awesome. Canyon tried a shoulder block, but just bounced off of him. Canyon then tries again and hits a clothesline. Canyon then gets a shoulder into the gut, and then he charges Awesome, but he eats an elbow. Mike throws Canyon out of the ring, hits a suicide dive, which was pretty gnarly. Awesome throws Canyon into the guardrail and then into the steel steps. Awesome then try to slam Canyon, but Canyon reverses and pushes him into the ring post. Canyon then drop kicks Awesome into the ring post. He actually hits a cannonball like Kevin Owens hits from the apron to the ring floor, which is pretty awesome. And then they fight back in the ring, and Awesome hits a net breaker on Canyon on the ropes. Awesome hits an axe handle and then slams him. He goes up top and hits a top rope clothesline of his own. He gets 2. Awesome throws Canyon over the top rope. He hits him with a chair. And then he slams Canyon on the announce table. This announce table can take some fucking slams, as we see tonight. Awesome then runs at Canyon with the chair and hits him. They start battling in the crowd. Awesome slams Canyon on the concrete floor, then throws him back ringside. Awesome chokes Canyon with the ringside cable. Awesome throws Canyon back in the ring and catapults, throws him into the ring, then catapults him into the ring and gets 2. Awesome hits a clothesline. Canyon gets a desperate sunset flip that gets a 1. Then he's hit with a lariat. Awesome throws Canyon out of the ring. Then he picks up the chair and hits him again. He chokes Canyon with the chair. Awesome tried to jump off the top rope and hit Canyon with hit Canyon on the announce table, but Canyon's able to get up and hit the ropes. Canyon then hits a neck breaker as Awesome was sitting in the ropes. This got 2. Canyon punches Awesome, then hits a neck breaker and gets 2 as well. Canyon goes up top, hits a crossbody, but Awesome rolls through and gets 2. Both get up at the same time, but Canyon hits a flapjack and gets 2. Canyon picks up Awesome and tried for a powerbomb, but Awesome reverses it and hits an Alabama slam, which looks like he got CTE from that. And then Awesome clotheslines Canyon and then powerbombs Canyon right on his fucking neck. Like, he did not get Canyon up all the way for this. It was pretty disgusting. Awesome then goes outside and pulls up the mat, and he goes back in the ring, but to get Canyon, but Canyon punches him. Canyon goes to run and knock Awesome on the floor, where he just pulled up the mat, but Awesome gets a slingshot clothesline. Awesome then tries for a running power bomb, but Canyon reverses it. Awesome then throws Canyon on the entrance ramp, and he pulls up mats on that side as well. Awesome tries to power bomb Canyon from the entrance ramp to the mat, but Big Sexy's music hits, and he comes down, which is the Wolfpack music. He punches Awesome and then clotheslines him in the ring. And then the New Blood comes in, and Nash beats them all down. And this is like the important members of the New Blood, a.k.a. Kidman, Vampiro, Douglas, and Candido. 3 of these people still have matches tonight and already getting their ass beat. Sting and Flair come down. Canyon fights off the New Blood. Then R&B security comes down once again, and they all get thrown out of the ring. The Millionaires Club stand tall. Each of the men actually give Canyon a hug here, which I thought was nice to give Canyon a rub. So basically, this was a no contest, but I like this match as well. Some gnarly spots. I don't know how Canyon got up after being dropped on it. That stack of dimes you call a neck, but yeah, it makes the New Blood look like fucking jokes again. They need to start like bringing in like the Mama Lukes or like, you know, Guerrero and Mysterio and Conan if they're gonna be like beat up like this instead of like the main guys that, because Kidman, Vampiro, and Douglas still have matches tonight, pretty high profile matches, and they do this shit. But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed this match. Shitty that we got no ending, but I like Canyon getting the rub. Grooney, what'd you think?
I agree. This is my match of the night so far. I like Mike Awesome's physical abilities to just do all those, to do the dives and the leaps and everything. I don't understand how they missed the mark with Mike Awesome. Like it's a mystery. And again, I've covered all of it on Nation Invasion. I still am flabbergasted on how many times everybody has missed the mark except for ECW and Paul Heyman. But I thought we were getting Nash versus Mike Awesome after that powerbomb spot when the New Blood when the New Blood formed. I thought we were getting Mike Awesome versus Kevin Nash off the bat. I guess Nash had a broken ankle still or something, but like it seemed like he was running around like there was no problem. I don't understand why they pivoted this one here. I didn't like that there was a no contest finish. I think you could have given the win to Awesome to have his dominance for the New Blood. I mean, having Canyon win, again, giving him the rub works either way. But again, we're trying to put over the New Blood. But why is this match a no contest?
Yeah, it just makes them a joke. It's absurd. But Logan, what'd you think, buddy?
Yeah, this would have been a good place to have a New Blood win. Obviously, we'll talk about the big spot of the night later, but I guess you could say Awesome kind of gets one over on him at that point. So maybe Canyon could probably have used the rub, quote unquote, in this match. But I kind of get it. They're both guys that seem to be kind of on the rise, kind of newer guys that you want to push in this situation. So maybe I get maybe not going one way or the other. But again, New Blood's not getting too many wins. Again, like Scott said, what happens at the end of the match kind of makes the New Blood look like losers because Nash pretty much beats them up by them pretty much by himself at first, but then obviously the rest of the Millionaires Club come out and kind of ward the rest of them off. But yeah, awesome match. Both, no pun intended. But both guys are definitely high up on my list of guys that we've been watching a lot over the last month or so on the pod. But yeah, the crazy dive, Grooney, you mentioned it. This crazy stuff that Awesome can do at his size is incredible. We get again. Obviously, it ends in a no contest eventually, but we again get the chair using just willy nilly. No DQs are called whatsoever. So I had to point that out again. Canyon hits a pretty nice hangman neck breaker from the top rope at one point. I thought that was pretty awesome. The disgusting power bomb that Schiff mentioned by Awesome, just right on his neck. He does a German suplex like right after that too, and he kind of almost dumps him on his head on that one too. So Awesome throwing some sick suplexes out there without a doubt. But yeah, Nash comes out pretty much, dominates Awesome until the rest of the New Blood comes out, and then obviously the Millionaires Club guys come out and kind of run them off. So, yeah, probably a spot where you could have given a New Blood guy a win, but obviously they just weren't all that excited about pushing any of the New Blood guys, despite the fact that was the whole point of the fucking storyline in the first place.
Yeah, it's just like the New Blood guys like can get wins like Candido or but none of the
even that, like Prince Iake is not like a Millionaires Club member. He's just not in the new, Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's like the only ones that win are like the guys that are not going against the Millionaires Club. Because
Steiner won too,
yes, but it's like General Erection. Okay, he literally just changed his name from humorous to huge erection. So there we go.
God.
So we go back to the announce desk. Tony says the story is the Millionaire Club is united as a force. Tony talks about Buff Bagwell and Total Package and the added stuff with the Russo Liz stuff. We see highlights of Liz as my property, which is disgusting. Russo is making Liz watch backstage. Russo says, Liz, go change. And says, what are you wearing, a tablecloth? So he goes and makes her change. This leads to match 6, Total Package versus Buff. Luger is out first. Buff is out next. My note here is God, Buff sucks. Buff poses as the bell rings, and then he poses again. Luger just watches him. The men circle each other. Buff poses once more. Luger finally then poses. Then we got a collar and elbow tie-up. Luger pushes Buff into the corner. The ref breaks it up. When he does, Buff kicks and punches Lex. Buff slams Lex head first to the turnbuckle, and then he chokes him. Buff chokes Lex on the ropes, then drops... he kicks Buff, and then and then drops. My notes confuse me. Buff chokes Lex on the ropes and then drops him, and then he poses and gets a 2. Buff tries to suplex Lex, but he blocks it, and Lex suplexes Buff. Then he hits 2 atomic drops. Lex punches Buff. Lex gets 4 punches in the corner, but Buff stops him. But he throws him off. Lex then gets a clothesline and throws Buff out of the ring. Lex actually hits an axe handle from the apron to the ring floor. It's the most I've seen him move. Lex throws Buff into the guardrail. Lex slaps Buff and throws him in the ring. Buff attacks Lex, and when he gets him back in the ring, he drops him throat first on the rope. Buff hits a double arm DDT and gets 2. Buff gets a side headlock. Luger fights out. Luger and Buff somehow run into each other. It looked like complete shit. Like, wasn't timed up at all. Just horrible. Buff is up first and then slams Lex and then hits a splash. Buff gets a great value Steiner recliner. I know it's a camel clutch, but it looks like shit. Luger fights out, but Buff stops it. Buff's able to cinch back in the great value Steiner recliner. Luger tried to stop again, and he's able to because he hits Buff in the nuts. And then we see Russo saying, Liz, come here and see this. This is the best part coming up. But Liz, because Russo was leaning back in his chair, he pushes Russo back on the chair and grabs the bat and actually hits Russo with the bat. Luger starts beating down Buff and hits him with forearms and then a power slam. Liz comes down with the bat. Luger motions for the bat, but Buff stopped him. Luger went to stop Buff, but Buff somehow gets the bat and hits Luger with it. Buff hits a neck breaker. Buff goes for a blockbuster, but Liz then picks the bat up and hits him with the bat. Buff falls off the turnbuckle, obviously. Luger then puts Buff in the torture rack and wins, so another Millionaire Club win. Luger and Liz hug in the ring, and then Chuck Palumbo, who Logan we had actually seen in January when they were showing the Power Plant guys, he comes in and he's dressed like Lex, has the same logo on his pants and his knee brace, and he comes down and beats down Lex. He's dressed like him. Buff and Chuck beat down Lex. Chuck then racks Lex and Buff actually makes Liz watch. Buff carries Liz away. So we see like the Millionaire Club get a win, but like the New Blood like gets back on top. But like I will say this, like they're trying to push Chuck Palumbo, but he doesn't like he's in shape, but he's not in as good shape as Lex. Like it's strikingly different. And he also had a little struggle getting the torture rack up, but I won't hold it against him. But this was just a nothing match. These guys posed most of the match, as you can tell. But here we are. So I did like the ending. I like Chuck Palumbo. I remember liking him. So I like the Natural Born Thrillers. So we'll have to see if I'm SOL, if you know what that means. Logan, what did you think?
Yeah, it was exciting to see Palumbo come in. It is kind of sad that like Buff has to help him put the rack on. That is a little concerning to see that, if that's what he's supposed to kind of be, like a a clone of the total package. But yeah, Russo looks like a moron in the backstage. He gets cracked with the bat by Liz, and Liz obviously comes out, brings out the bat. Again, no DQ, but obviously at this point I kind of got over it. But I did have to point it out. But yeah, this is another pretty convincing win for the Millionaires Club. Obviously, like you said, they kind of get over. The New Blood kind of gets over it in the post match, but this match was too long for this era of the total package, and Buff isn't particularly talented enough to bring a guy like Total Package up at this point in his career. Buff was probably never that guy. But yeah, Luger's obviously a little past his prime at this point and is more muscle than he is talent at this point in his career. But yeah, not a horrible match, but pretty boring in most spots, because it was very clear that, Buff's most of his offense was kind of rest holds when he was on offense. I will say the crowd was super into this match. I felt like they were pretty loud and were pretty high for all of Package's offense and stuff like that. So they did a good job of working the crowd, I'll say, but it was overall pretty boring, but not just all out terrible, I would say. But Grinny, what'd you think?
I feel like we have seen this match, so it felt like it was like another here comes it felt like another Nitro match that we've seen like 100 times already. It's like, oh, it's Lex Luger versus Buff Bagwell. I think the fans were really involved in the storyline of Liz escaping Russo, of like the damsel in distress. WCW finally got something right when it came to this particular storyline. Like with it's like they were almost like copying the Ken Shamrock saving Stephanie from the Ministry of Darkness. Here comes Lex Luger saving Liz. That bad shot that Liz gave Russo looked like it hurt, and I was like, yes, swing, baby, swing. Like that was probably the highlight of the match. And again, Chuck, what a way to introduce Chuck Palumbo. Again, random, and then you'll see eventually the rest of the Natural Born Thrillers, as Schiff pointed out too. But a random spot that's like, hey, we want to give you a singles push, but I don't think like this is gonna this really worked out. Like Chuck is more of a tag team guy overall, and Schiff, you might be SOL if you can't find any more WCW stuff, since it's all going away on Peacock.
Crooney, why are you trying to bring me down on my own podcast, man? Come on. We all know that's a sensitive subject, Crooney.
Subject.
Because you brought up SOL.
Oh, God.
But yeah, we'll have to see, Logan, how long he is dressing like Luger. Like,
I hope that's not a regular thing. Cause
me too, because that's might be a career killer.
Just wait. Like that's all I can say. Just wait for a Great American Bash.
I gotcha.
Okay, great. Another month. Okay. Well, like 2 months here. 2 months with the podcast. But yeah,
exactly.
So after this, we go backstage with Mean Gene. He's with Shane Douglas, and Shane says, "Get it right. It's the franchise." Shane says, "For 7 long, torturous years listening to Flair's bullshit." Shane says it ends tonight, and Shane says tonight he will retire Flair and says his ass will be franchised. This leads us to match 7 with Ric Flair versus Shane Douglas in the dumbest stip I've ever seen. If Russo interferes, Flair gets 5 minutes. And Russo already said he's going to interfere, so why not just have this? Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Should have just been like a handicap match in the first place.
Would have been so much better. So Shane's out first. He gets on the mic and he says, "Cut the damn music." He says Kansas City gets the chance to see Ric Flair fall to the franchise. Madden brings up that Luger is too hurt to interfere, which I thought was a nice point. Flair's out next. He's still wearing shirt and slacks, which is fucking terrible because he looks like a fucking accountant trying to, set up my financial fund, my retirement 401k shit. Flair gets on the mic and he yells at the ref to hold the rope because he says he's the champion. And Madden's like, not anymore. The ref's a little Nate, so he does it. Flair says that Harley Race and Ric Flair have worked to save pro wrestling, which makes sense because they're in Kansas City. And then he calls Shane Douglas a dipshit and says that he will kick his ECW ass, which I was like, why is what the hell did ECW do to you, Flair? Besides let Shane Douglas call you Dick Flair for like 4 years. So the match starts. They circle. Flair struts. They get another collar and elbow tie-up. Shane hits a shoulder block. They get another collar and elbow tie-up, but Shane forces him into the turnbuckle and stops. Flair gets the armbar, but Shane hits Flair in the face with a punch. Then he gets a back body drop. Shane gets 10 punches in the corner, and then Shane throws Flair into another corner and charges him. Flair elbows him and starts chopping him. They trade chops. Then Flair gets an advantage and gets a snapmare. Flair goes up top, and Shane throws him off. Madden once again says that Flair's 0 for 10,000, which make me laugh the first time and the second time he said that because he's true. Shane gets on the figure floor, and he gets 2 on the figure floor. But Flair gets out, raises up for it. Shane still holds on the figure floor. Flair gets to the ropes. Then he goes back to work. Shane goes back to working the leg. Flair's able to get up and he chops Shane. Shane chops Flair and Flair goes down immediately. Shane went for a figure 4 again, but Flair eye rakes him and he hits Shane in the nuts. Should have been a DQ, Logan. Shane rolls outside and Flair follows him. Flair chops him at the guardrail and he throws Shane at another guardrail. Flair yells at Madden. I think he calls him Fat Boy. Then Flair chops Shane on the announce table that will not die, like Matt Hardy. Then he punches him. Flair throws Shane into the ring post, and then he throws him back in the ring. But then Shane is able to slam Flair. Shane pulls a chain out of his boot and punches Flair. Then he hits three suplexes in a row. And on the third suplex, it turns into a brain buster, which I thought was pretty nice. He poses, but he gets 2 off of this. Shane mounts Flair and punches him. Flair pushes him off and he gets up, but Shane punches him in the corner. Flair grabs Shane in a reversal and throws him in the corner and chops him. Then he does the Flair strut. They trade punches and chops once again. Flair kicks Shane in the nuts. Flair then actually starts working over Shane's knee, puts him in the figure 4. But Buff runs down and someone in a Sting mask comes out. He actually hits Flair with a bat while the ref is distracted. I don't know why the ref has to be distracted. We've seen chair shots the rest of the night. I don't know, Logan. I'm just getting ahead of you when you ask this question.
Correct.
Yes. This allows actually Shane to roll up Flair for the win. Douglas and Buff beat down Flair and Little Nate. And then Flair, as they're leaving, gets on the mic and says, "Russo, turn around." Talking to the guy in the Sting, says, "You aren't going nowhere, Jack." Flair says Russo owes him 5 minutes. Flair says he wants it now. Then Luger comes out and actually takes out Shane and Buff, and Luger throws the fake Sting in the ring, but then Russo runs down and actually hits Luger with the bat. So it's not Russo in the Sting mask. The man in the Sting mask hits Flair with the Statue of Liberty, which model that just breaks apart. He takes off the mask and it's David Flair. Russo beats down David Flair and beats down Flair and screams, "Start the clock," and does like the chop shot, the DX chop shot, like he was like 10 years old, just so aggressive and not making it look cool at all. Losing his coolness every time he fucking does it. Then the Wolfpack music hits once again and Nash comes out. Nash actually beats down David Flair and Russo, and Russo is trying to act like a badass, but Nash grabs him, is about to powerbomb him, but Daphne comes in and hits Nash in the nuts. Russo then grabs the bat and beats down Nash with the bat and does the suck it once again to Flair Nash, David Flair, Daphne, and Russo all celebrate. And they show highlights of what just happened. Just craziness, guys. Grooney, what'd you think of the match? Which this match was nothing despite being one of the hype matches. Felt like it went 5 minutes. And what'd you think of the post match, which I just included in all this because it was part of the stipulation?
Okay, I feel that someone had to feed Ric Flair the ECW line because there's no way Flair knew where
exactly
Shane Douglas was. And like he did not know Shane Douglas was on ECW TV. Imagine if Shane Douglas went back to the WWF in 1999, he'd be saying, "For 3 years I was Dean Douglas and the Click held me down, and now I'm here to take out Triple H and Shawn Michaels." But more on that later. Okay, so Douglas wins cleanly. And it's not Russo. Like, why should Russo even enter the ring if he didn't interfere? Like, Flair lost fair and square. That's the first part of the stipulation. And then was Russo trying to make David Flair the higher power? Like, was this the big reveal again of the higher power? That's what I put in my notes. It felt like, oh, that's really going to be a shocker. Everyone's going to love this, just like when Vince was the higher power. David Flair is the man behind the Sting mask. What else do I have? Even though it hasn't been established that Undertaker is the American badass, when in doubt, call Nash because he'll come running out and be the conscience of the Millionaires Club. It felt like they were just.
It's weird that Nash doesn't have any matches, but shows up multiple times. Like they should have put him in the wall together since Sid bailed, but it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I just thought that it was funny. They're trying to make Nash the conscience, and it's like, oh well, just call on me, I'll be there. And Daphne looking crazy as ever, but she was very pretty.
Mm-hmm. Had the pink hair.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. Don't think pink.
But yeah, for somebody that's seemingly rehabbing an injury, Nash sure gets involved a lot in this show. So if that was even somewhat the excuse of why they didn't have him in a match, I know being match ready may be a little bit different than being run-in ready, but if you're going to do multiple run-ins, I think you could probably good enough to work a match in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, the match was fine. I won't say it was out and out bad or anything like that, but Flair wrestling in what I called his church attire is still something I can't get with. He just looks weird. It looks strange. And even Douglas wrestles most of this match in his shirt too. So it was low effort with the attire going on in this match. But yeah, obviously we kind of get a screwy ending. They obviously beat Flair down pretty bad after the match. He wants Russo because he says he got screwed. Obviously, the big reveal of David Flair being the fake Sting is not all that exciting because we have mostly hated David Flair on this pod. So I'm assuming he won't have gotten much more talented in the few weeks that he's been gone. But yeah, then Russo and him obviously beat Flair down a good bit and eventually beat down Nash when he comes out after Daphne low blows him. So yeah, fine match. You said it felt like it went short. I felt like it went super long. So, but not the greatest, but not the worst at the same time.
If I may make one more note, this is exactly the time frame of when Rick felt uncomfortable with his body and weight, but was like, "Oh, I'll still wrestle to get a paycheck, but I'm just gonna wrestle in t-shirts." It's like, dude, if you're embarrassed about your body, please retire.
Yeah, as I say, that's my thing is if you're that self-conscious about it, just have a surgery done or just retire because you're already old as shit and you wrestle for 20 more years, or it feels like you wrestle for 10 or 15 more years, it feels like, but obviously he only wrestles for 8 more. But, it's just if you feel that bad about yourself, get some work done, go away for a while, or just fucking retire because you're an old man.
But he's probably the most over guy in the company.
Yeah, I know, but like if it's an aesthetic thing, like have something done, like go away and have a surgery or something. I don't know. It just feels like he mails it in because he just doesn't even try to act like he's there to have a match. He's just like there to be a fighter in his church attire.
Yeah, it's and he still looks like he's in decent shape, which is insane. But
I know that's the
yeah,
thing. Like yeah.
it's not like him wrestling in fucking TNA when he
Yeah.
looks like shit, or that
Or like
Hogan
the latter
tour,
stages
but,
of his WWE career. I mean, it's not like he's in great shape, but like he's an old man. Like you're supposed to look like an old man.
yeah, you're not gonna. Yeah, but we got David Flair back after turning on his dad. What's the announce team talks about, and then they set up the Sting and Vampiro feud, which basically been a squash of Vampiro so far. I know it doesn't end like that. But I love Sting, but after living through his Abyss feud, which seemed like it ran forever, this Vampiro feud seems to run forever. I don't know what they like. Russo seems to think that like Sting is like the Undertaker at WCW, where he's not. Like I don't know why they try to make him like spooky, like the Undertaker. Like it. Yeah, that's what he is. He's the real franchise. He is, but like it shouldn't be like him like having like fucking powers and shit. But that's what I think they're trying to do here, with like the lights flickering and the crow, which the crow was pretty dope when he did it to NWO, but like you don't need to do it now. But he was even doing that before he left Logan at Sold Out with like, remember he was coming at the end of January and he had the crow on the stage to fuck with Luger and Liz. So but anyway, leads us to match 8, Sting versus Vampiro. Vampiro's out first. He's carrying a bat. He's waiting on the entrance ramp for Sting. The crow is out and the lights start flickering. Sting comes down with his own bat. They start fighting on the entrance ramp. Sting suplexes Vampiro on the ramp. Then he hits an atomic drop. Vampiro goes towards the ring and Sting punches him in the ring. Sting actually then hits a missile drop kick, which if you would have told me in the Lord year 2000, Logan, that Sting would hit a fucking missile drop kick from the top rope, my flabber would be gasted, as Matt Souza says. But he hit a top rope missile drop kick, which was pretty impressive.
That
Vampiro
dive he does from the top
Sting,
to the outside at the very beginning is insane too.
I was just getting to that. Yeah, he hits a splash from the top rope to the floor. Like Sting was like, I'm not letting this painted freak fucking show me up. Like, at least he seems to be one of the guys, because we just talked about Flair going through the motions, and the match we're going to talk about next is like an extended fucking
burial
challenge jobber squash match. But yeah, so like these guys actually try to like Sting like trying to kill himself because he hits a splash, like as Logan said, from the top rope to the floor, which is amazing. Sting then slams Vampiro head first on the announce table, and he DDTs Vampiro head first on the floor. He rolls in the ring. He goes back outside and he throws Vampiro back in the ring because Vampiro didn't follow him. And Sting punches Vampiro, but then Vampiro hits Sting in the nuts. He chops Sting and then he goes up top. It's a top rope lariat, which is somehow the third top rope lariat we've seen tonight. It's kind of weird. Vampiro goes under the ring, gets a lead pipe. He hits Sting with a lead pipe multiple times. He headbutts Sting, and then he hits Sting in the nuts once again. Vampiro kicks Sting and continues beating him down with a lead pipe. Sting bails from the ring, and Vampiro follows him out. Vampiro drops Sting face first on the entrance ramp. He hits a spin kick as well. Vampiro then clotheslines Sting back in the ring and keeps beating him with the lead pipe. He clotheslines Sting in the corner and then puts Sting on the top rope and went for a Super Hurricane Rana, which I think would have killed him and Sting. But Sting hits Vampiro in the nuts, and Sting hits a super fucking power bomb from the top rope. Sting like working tonight, Logan. Like holy shit. Sting was able to get the lead, right? Like insane. Then Sting hits Vampiro with a lead pipe. Then he hits a Stinger Splash, and then he hits another Stinger Splash with a lead pipe. He hits a Scorpion Death Drop. Then I guess realized, oh shit, I got to hit another one. He hits another one, and it's over. And he celebrates. Stingland goes back and starts beating Vampiro down again with the lead pipe. Like this was a quick match, but like Sting basically whooped Vampiro's ass for like 6 of the 9 minutes. Like Vampiro really hasn't been seen as much of a threat outside, like when they gave him the bloodbath because that was a pretty cool visual. But even like in the graveyard where he was quote unquote killed, Sting still recovered like 45 minutes later, and like
came back and whooped his ass.
Yeah, came back, whooped his ass. And Logan, this goes to the problem that we're having. Like, these new blood guys aren't like getting like
ever
one-ups on the Millionaire Club ever. Like, the only one that sort of does is Shane Douglas beats Flair, and he's not really new blood either. He's old as fuck. He's been wrestling since '89, but that's because Russo's involved. And with this, Sting beats his ass. We know what's to come in at the Great American Bash, which is dumb, but it's just insane. Like, everyone knows I'm a huge Sting fan. Sting should have lost to Vampiro. Vampiro seemed he was coming up and coming when we were watching the pay-per-views for February and March. Like, you know, like he got the rub from Sting then in March. Like, it's just, I just don't get it, Logan. I just don't get it at all. But
yeah,
go on. No,
it's just the convincingness with which Sting just absolutely just drums him in these fights. Like, Vamp has gotten the one up of the graveyard, and even like I just said, Sting comes back later in that night and absolutely just waylays on fucking Vampiro. And even the bloodbath, like that was a team effort. Like, Vampiro had to have other new blood guys out there to kind of get that set up and have that go, you know, have that happen. So he hasn't done anything by himself. Every time himself and Sting are in the ring with each other, he absolutely gets his ass kicked. Like, he gets some offense in this match, but like you said, Sting dominates most of it. When Vamp was on offense, he was mostly using weapons. He was using the quote unquote lead pipe he was hitting him like he owed, like Sting owed him money. But Sting repays him later and hits the shit out of him with it later on as well. But just super convincing finish. He hits multiple Scorpion Death Drops, which I guess you could say, oh, well, it took more than one to beat him. But I think he just kind of was putting the oomph on the end of the match. But yeah, Vamp, he's the worst looking of all the new blood guys as it pertains to like story and like how they view him as a superstar going forward. Because clearly they don't see him on anywhere near the level of Sting, because he is, like I said.
You sure about that?
I mean, I think they want to see him that way, but
no. Obviously, the next match we're going to talk about, they made Kidman look like a complete fucking jobber.
I don't know. I feel like Kidman's at least gotten one over on Hogan at some point. I don't think Vamp's.
Yeah, but it's with the help of Mike Awesome.
Yeah, I guess so. But I feel like Kidman has looked like he could get one over on Hogan at some point. I don't ever feel like Vamp has ever gotten one over on Sting. So, but yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, both of them are terribly booked throughout this entire thing. So, but Gurney, what do you think of this one?
Sting is definitely in better shape than Flair is. That's a fact. What was funny is when the Crow trainer is shown in the background trying to get the Crow off the stage. Like, you see him like putting his arm out, like, come on, Birdie. Sting dominates this whole match. Again, you said it went 9 minutes, and again, 6 minutes to Sting, 3 to Vampiro. But I don't think, again, I think I like what you guys are saying, that Vampiro is not a new blood player with, like, when it comes to like Russo and Bischoff and all them. It's like, hey, you guys do your thing and I'm just gonna go do my own thing. But again, call me if you need me. I'd be happy just to take out Sting alone, which he doesn't at Slamboree. And again, he has help at Great American. He doesn't have help, but you know what I mean, how Great American Bash ends with them too. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but this is the perfect example. This and Jeff Jarrett's theme song. I hate the dubs. I hate that we don't get Seek and Destroy by Metallica. If you recall that is Sting's entrance at the time. It's Seek and Destroy by Metallica.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the dubs are
Yeah,
horrible, for sure.
it's pretty frustrating, especially Jeff Jarrett's, because that actually was like one of my favorite parts of Jeff Jarrett thing. First off, I could have a
Cowboy.
whole Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, I could have a whole Jeff Jarrett thing. I think he's better as a upper mid card heel, not as the main event.
Yep.
Like if you would have swapped him and Steiner, it'd be great. But
Mhm.
we'll get to that. But yeah, it's buckle up, guys, because
Headed for a
Squash-
hardcore war.
We're headed for Squash City.
yeah. But before we get there, guys, today is with DDP and David Arquette. David looks scared. He says he's scared. David says we will stick to the plan. DDP says stay out of Jarrett's way, and if anyone gets involved, go to the top and fend anyone off. Then we see Kevin Nash looking for Russo. This is a big Russo trope, Grooney, of like people looking backstage for someone. These backstage are only so fucking big. But we see Kevin Nash open up every door looking for Russo. Then Tanea's with Kidman, Tori, Eric, and Kimberly. Kidman says he can't lose because Eric is the ref. Kidman says he's already won 3 times already. He said it's going to be a good night for the new blood. And then Jobber match 9. Just match 9. Kidman versus Hulk Hogan with Eric as special guest referee. Eric and Kimberly are out first. Tori and Kidman out next. Hulk Hogan or Terry Bollea is out next. Tony calls him both names. I'm going to just keep calling him Hogan. Horace Hogan comes out with his uncle. Eric gets in Horace's face and he makes him leave. Horace goes after Billy. Hogan goes after Billy, but Eric stops him. Billy's on the outside. Hogan goes after Billy. Billy runs around and gets in the ring. When Hogan gets in the ring, Billy punches him. Hogan then tries to slam Billy, but Billy gets an inside cradle for 2. Hogan reverses an Irish whip, and Billy tried a sunset flip, but Hogan picks him up by his neck and puts him on the top rope, nuts first, and hits a clothesline. They fight on the outside. Hogan throws Billy back in the ring. Hogan grabs a chair. He then sets the chair down and sets it up like you can sit on it, and he slams Kidman on the chair for a pretty gross spot. Hogan charges Kidman in the corner, and Kidman actually gets his legs up. Kidman then gets the slowest Hurricane Rana I've ever seen before in my life. Hogan is then drop kicked out of the ring. He then grabs Kidman by his feet and drags him out of the ring and throws him in the guardrail. He throws him into another guardrail and posts him. Kidman then uses Tori as a shield, and then he pushes Tori into Hogan, and then he's able to punch him. Kidman throws Hogan in the ring, and he punches him again. He punches Hogan in the corner. Hogan then is able to switch over and gets punches to Kidman, then hits a clothesline. He starts whipping Kidman with his belt. His weight belt. Eric takes the belt away. This allows Kidman to hit Hogan. Eric hands the belt to Kidman, and he starts hitting Hogan with the belt. Hulk Hogan then hip tosses Kidman out of the ring like he's a fucking scrub. Just like hip tosses him out of the ring like it's nothing. He slams him into the guardrail. Like, it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I feel bad for Kidman, even though it's proof that he can't cut a fucking promo as I've seen. But he still gets to fuck Tori, so what do I know? I mean, not anymore, but during this time. Hogan then throws Kidman into the ring, and he pins him, but Eric doesn't count. Eric refuses to count. Hogan actually hits a back suplex on Kidman, and he pins him again. Eric still doesn't count. And then Hogan keeps doing elbows, but Kidman keeps rolling away, and Hogan misses 3. But instead of Kidman getting on offense, Hogan just gets mad and throws Kidman out of the ring again. And then when Hogan comes out, Kidman hits Hogan and throws him in the guardrail. And he tries to throw him on the announce table, but Hogan blocks it as he throws Kidman on the announce table. Kidman's able to then punch out Hogan when they get back in the ring. Hogan holds up and gets the big boot. He went for the leg drop, but Bischoff stepped in front of him. Hogan then punches Eric and hits the leg drop, and he then just mounts Kidman and punches him. Eric then goes to hit Hulk Hogan with the chair, but he grabbed the chair and actually hits Eric. And then he hits Kidman, who rolls out of the ring. Hogan then goes on the ring and pulls out a table, then another one, and one table breaks when he's trying to set it up. He sets up the other table. Hogan's about to powerbomb Eric through the table, but Kidman hits him twice with the chair, and then he pins Hulk Hogan, but Eric is out, and then he revives Eric, but Hogan kicks out at 1 3/4, not even 2 on this guy. Kidman goes to hit Hulk Hogan with the chair, who was being held by Eric, and then Hogan doesn't even move. He just fucking kicks Kidman like he's like how Logan would kick his kid if like they were play wrestling. And then he power bombs Eric to the table. That's what it would look like, Logan. That's what it would look like. And then Hogan rolls out of the ring and he grabs another table and it actually gets stuck on the ring apron curtain. I don't know if you guys caught this. Like one of the guys had to help him. Then Hogan went to hit Kidman with the chair, but Kidman hits Hogan in the nuts. Kidman beats down Hogan with the chair. Kidman sets up a table and he puts Hogan on the table, and then Kidman goes to splash Hogan to the table, but he moves. Horace then comes in and forces Eric's hand to count 3, and Hulk Hogan wins this fucking squash. Like, Logan, this is what I was talking about. Like, Sting and Vampiro is bad, but like Sting and Vampiro are here, and on another fucking level is what Hogan's doing to Kidman. He looks like a goddamn joke. This was like Russell Challenge bad, like the fucking Mulkey brothers bad. Like, this is how bad this fucking jobber was. Like, he could do nothing, and it's fucking pitiful. Like, I feel bad for Kidman. It's like secondhand cringe 25 years later, almost 26. Secondhand fucking cringe at this. And like, that's why, like, you know, I say fuck Hulk Hogan for the racist shit. Fuck Hulk Hogan for Starrcade 97. Fuck Hulk Hogan for this too. Like, him trying to be Stone Cold Hulk Hogan is just goddamn ridiculous.
He's Stone Cold Terry Bollea. Get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say of tonight, like, this is the worst of the squash. But like I said, I feel like Vamp just hasn't gotten anything over on Sting, and Kidman at least like ran him over with the Hummer and stuff like that at some point. So, but yeah, this is just an absolute complete burial of Kidman, which is unfortunate because I feel like at the beginning of the year we were excited for him because he did come in clutch in the first pay-per-view of the year, wrestling the 3 matches, and looked really good in all of them, and had been one of our favorites kind of at the earlier point of the year. But it kind of doesn't matter whether he's one of our favorites or not at this point, because Hogan doesn't give a shit, because he must pose, he must win. Yeah, just, I mean, like you talked about the Hurricane Rana he takes. It's wild that Hogan takes that bump, because like they even point out on commentary, he's probably never taken a Hurricane Rana in his life, but it is in absolute slow motion. That gorilla press onto the open chair was pretty nasty at the early portions of the match. The hip toss to the outside was absolutely that was the most absurd bump I think I may have ever seen. Because he just flies just like a little kid, just gets chucked over the top rope. Bischoff gets his ass beat throughout. Hogan starts grabbing tables like he's a Dudley boy. So Hogan Dudley out here, Hulkamania Dudley. And he obviously power bombs Bischoff through one of them. It's pretty weak that the finish comes off of Kidman just missing a dive. Obviously, he'd gotten his ass
After all that.
But yeah, after all the squashing that had happened, like all that takes is for him to miss a dive, and obviously Horace comes out and uses Bischoff's hand to count the pinfall. But yeah, just poor Kidman. Just that's all I can say. Grooney, what'd you think of this one?
Yeah, Kidman got his ass handed to him. At the time, watching this back. Not now, but like the first couple of times I've seen this feud, I was like, "Oh, Hogan's the man." I liked Hogan. I'm sorry, Schiff. I was like, all about Hogan. I was like, Hogan, until you realize, like, man, this dude's a jerk. He just like doesn't put anybody over, and he does squash him. I was happy when Eric got his butt handed to him. Like Bischoff took shots. Kimberly is useless here. Should have had her in the triple cage match. And it looks like Kimberly's outfit. She's going to the roller disco. I bet you they had roller discos in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was. She is always pretty useless, but yeah, she was definitely
looking roll tide.
She did look hot, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Hogan just kicks the crap out of Billy Kidman, and again, Bischoff took shots as well. Hogan and tables don't mix. Yeah,
it felt weird.
It's just horrible. He's trying to be a badass. when he's a piece of shit. But anyway, so we see Russo and Liz running away, and he tries to get on the Millionaire's bus, but Luger was in it waiting for him. So Russo then bails and he steals a car and takes off. As we see Michael Myers, Kevin Nash almost walking and had him. So and then that's
Scott, can I comment on this?
Yeah, of course, buddy. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Because I knew you were going to jump right into it. This backstage segment is stupid. Why would? Okay, I guess after every night, this is funny. I guess after every night that Russo always returns Liz like back to Luger when the cameras go off. It's like, here she is, she's fine. Here it's like, why would you just leave Liz? Like, you would think if you're playing a game of, oh, I have Liz, you'd be like, yeah, I'm stealing her. Like, she's gonna run away with me. Like, I'm just gonna drag her in the car. He literally leaves Liz on the bus with Lex. If you're trying to make a storyline out of this, pull Liz with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
that was
this stuff just. All of it is so dumb. Like, Russo is basically, this is like if I started writing wrestling and I brought Tori Wilson into it because I had a crush on her 25 years ago. Like, this is what it fucking feels like.
And it almost felt like he thought he was going to be able to steal the bus, but like, there was bound to be a Millionaires Club member on there. They were going to kick his ass, even if he was like trying to sneak out with it or something like that. Like, Luger pops up and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm leaving. Bye."
It would have been better if it was Chronic. Like, if Chronic of all people just happened to be on the bus.
Yeah, because they're definitely missing from this pay-per-view, and they've been pretty featured. So that would have been
and to go back to your last statement as well before we get into it, they have declared that Chronic are the tag team champions, and that gets messy as the months go on as well with Bagwell and Douglas. I forgot that Bagwell's a tag team champion with Douglas because I remember watching that Thunder, and Chronic just has the belts. It gets worse for Bagwell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said like they stole the titles, but they're not champions. So we'll have to see what Monday brings, if it brings anything. But it's just insane. Speaking of insane, we see highlights of the DDP, Jeff Jarrett, and the Arquette feud. Jeff Jarrett's with Mean Gene. Mean Gene says this will be a handicap match, basically. Jeff calls him a geriatric slap ass, which never ceases to make me laugh. I'm going to bust that out on Sean in Vegas. Jeff says he will get his title back tonight. And then my next note is, oh, wonderful. They brought out Michael Buffer for this. That's right. Michael Buffer had to introduce everyone for this match, which is our main event, guys. Match 10, David Arquette versus DDP versus Jeff Jarrett in a triple cage. So we see a bunch of ladders and chairs on the quote-unquote first floor. Then you got to work your way up, crawl up to the second floor, which has hardcore stuff like literally a kitchen sink, bolt cutter so you can escape. And then the third floor is the guitar level, which is just okay. So all three men come down. The match starts and all look at each other. Arquette tries to leave, but Jeff grabs him, but DDP attacks Jeff. Jeff and DDP duke it out. Jeff hits a DDT. David runs away from Jeff, and then Jeff runs into a clothesline from DDP. DDP hits another clothesline, then hits a rock bottom. David then tried to splash Jeff, but Jeff rolls out of the ring. Remember that for later. DDP throws Jeff into the cage. DDP gets a ladder, but Jeff kicks the ladder into DDP. Jeff throws DDP into the cage. DDP throws Jeff into the cage, and he actually hits David by accident. DDP tried to post Jarrett, but Jeff pulls DDP into the ring post using his leg strength. Jeff Clinton hit David when DDP moved. DDP then is able to post Jeff into the ring post. DDP grabs a ladder and tries to climb the second cage, but Jeff stops him. They fight around the ring. Jeff's bleeding already. A pretty decent blade job, too, from him. DDP then tries again, but Jeff pulls him off and hits a German suplex. Jeff starts climbing to get to cage 2, but DDP hits him with a sit-down powerbomb. DDP starts climbing to level 2, which they call hardcore hell, but stops and throws Jeff into the ladder twice. He goes for a third time, but Jeff reverses and sends DDP into the ladder. Jeff then slams the ladder on DDP. Jeff then drops another ladder on DDP. Jeff starts climbing to hardcore hell, but DDP pulls him off. They both fight on the ladder, and DDP holds onto the cage and kicks Jeff off the ladder, which I thought was pretty nice. DDP then makes it to stage 2, hardcore hell. Jeff then follows him out. DDP grabs bolt cutters and opens up the door, but Jeff stops him before he can leave. Jeff hits DDP with a trash can, which is up there. Jeff hits DDP with a chair and then starts climbing to level 3, but DDP stops him. They're fighting in the second level, just hitting each other with weapons. We see David watching on the floor. David throws Jeff into the side of the cage, and it broke, and it just happens to be where the camera is, guys, that magically so we can see everything. DDP tries to set up a table, but it doesn't stick on the cage. It falls through the cage. Like, it doesn't set up all the way, but Jeff still slams it through the but then like Jeff stops him, but DDP still slams you through the table, but it's like set up by like 6 inches. It's pretty funny. Jeff starts climbing, but DDP hits Jeff with the chair. They fight outside of level 2. Both men are down. When this happens, like, you can feel like nervous energy because it seems like they're going to fall off the side of the cage, which coming up for what happens and where they're at, not a year after Owen Hart's death, it's like you guys could have waited a month for this. But David starts climbing, and he climbs all the way to the 3rd floor of the guitar room, but I guess he's scared of heights and he can't get up because they say it's 40 feet up, so he's like looking up to grab the title, but he could have done it. Then Mike Awesome like appears out of nowhere, like he just like got sent to the 2nd floor of this thing, which is pretty amazing, and he attacks DDP. And then DDP hits Awesome with the diamond cutter. Jeff and DDP both climb into the 3rd level. They both get in the guitar room, and they each miss guitar shots on each other. DDP then gives David Arquette a guitar for protection. Both men are down. Jeff has a guitar as well. DDP gets up, and David hits DDP with the guitar. Jeff pulls down the belt, and Tony says it's the ultimate swerve. I said this makes no sense. Mike Awesome then tries to powerbomb DDP, but Kanyon saves him. Mike Awesome then throws Kanyon off the cage, and the show ends with Mike Awesome, Jeff, and David Arquette celebrating. So not only, guys, does David Arquette screw DDP for some asinine reason, I'm sure they'll try to make sense tomorrow. It makes no sense right now because literally the whole storyline has been that David screwed Jeff out of the title when Jeff was already fucking champion for DDP to win, and then David Arquette won. So it makes no goddamn sense. And then at the Kemper Arena, where Owen Hart passed away the year before, Mike also throws Kanyon off the cage through the entrance ramp. Yes, it's heavily padded, but it's like, what the fuck? You can literally hear like the crowd stop making noise when he does that. It's like the air had been sucked down the fucking room. It's just literally insane. What, like, all this makes no sense. I'll give it to DDP and Jeff. They had a fun brawl. Logan can attest brawling is all that Jeff can do, especially the weapons. Luckily, they didn't somehow make it into a crowd. Logan's shaking his head on camera right now. You guys can't see it, but power in the impact zone, it's broken Logan in ways we'll never find out. But it's a swerve to a swerve. That's all it is. It's swerve, just a swerve. Makes no goddamn sense. Like, if you're gonna do this, just keep Jeff Jarrett champion and have David Arquette come there and screw him at the end. Like, no reason at all for this. It's just so fucking dumb, and it ruins what was actually a pretty decent pay-per-view. Besides, like, the last 2 matches fucking kill the show. Completely just kill the show. It's just insane. Like, I don't hate it. It's just like, why would I want to tune in on Monday to watch this? You know, like, oh, they want to get on a swerve. Like, oh my God, Jeff Jarrett somehow a 2-time champion and has had like total reign for like 1 day because he lost it the first day last time. It's like, what the fuck? So, sorry, 8 days because he fought against Steiner. My apologies before Gruenberg corrected me. So, but Gruenberg, I'm going to save Logan's comments for last. So let me know what you thought of this main event and the swerve, bro, just for a swerve. And then Mike Awesome looking like he's killing Kanyon.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed the match. Again, like you said, Jeff Jarrett's a brawler. Like, you need him not to have a straight up wrestling match, but there's got to be like stipulations involved here. Jared bleeding like a stuffed pig. I did not have on my bingo card, but he took a lot of shots. What? Sorry, I'm gonna think about these words for a second. I thought they could have spent more time in Hardcore Hell, the second level of the cage. It felt like they moved way too fast in Hardcore Hell, like the second tier to the final big finale spot. I feel like they could have spent like maybe 3 more minutes in Hardcore Hell, just like kicking the crap out of each other. Arquette could not get that latch open. It looked like it was gonna fall on it, like close him down and hit his head, like when he tries to do it the first time. I laughed. Why doesn't Arquette come out third is the real mystery question. Because he comes out second. Champions come out third. No matter how absurd of a champion David Arquette is, he should not be coming out second. I think that's a big blunder and like ridiculous. Like should have definitely have been DDP coming out second and Arquette being the wild card of the third man in the ring. But it's like, why does he come out second? That's so stupid. So let's talk about the swerve. I think Arquette does it because he thinks that DDP has taken him as a joke of a champion, like especially when even Arquette's like, I don't deserve to be champion, like I'm being truthful, and DDP's like, yeah, no clue, kid. I kind of felt like there were like hints of like a swerve coming with the interview of like, oh, just stay out of my way, David, and it's like, oh yeah, man, I'll stay out of your way, and stuff like that, and I feel like you just knew the swerve that it's like, oh, well, DDP didn't take me seriously, so I turned on him. Jeff kind of cared about me and took me seriously as a champ. I had to fight Tank Abbott's because of Jarrett's, like something like that. I don't know. From what I heard on the 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff podcast, because they've covered the weeks leading up to Great American Bash 2000 and the fallout of Slamboree 2000. This is exactly Eric's words here, Scott. He says, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, and it didn't click that was the arena that Owen Hart fell. And then when he asked Canyon, do you have a problem doing this? He says Canyon said no. What are your thoughts on that, Scott?
I refuse to believe that for a company that's employing Bret Hart at the time, we have seen him on Thunders and Nitros attacking Hogan. He was literally on the last Thunder. That no one is so fucking stupid enough to be like, hey, we're going to do this here. And they're like, oh, isn't that where Owen Hart died? Literally the previous May. Now, I'm sure people told them, but in their hubris, they were like, wrestling fans are dumb. They won't fucking believe it. So the 2 and 2 thing is just, I'm calling bullshit. Like, Bischoff chooses to believe what he wants to believe. I used to listen to that podcast, I admit, and then it just turned into him bashing Dave for like 45 or 50 fucking minutes and never wanting to blame Hogan or anyone else for the shit decisions that were made. And it's just like, what do you do? But, I'm literally some slapdick in my office right now doing a podcast, and he made millions more than I ever will. So maybe he was right about something. So, but them to do that there, I refuse. Like, Russo was there. Russo was there when this happened.
Yeah.
It's a bullshit. It's a cop-out.
Yeah, it was definitely a bad idea. I think it's worse that they like sell it as much as they do on commentary.
Like dead. Like he's dead.
The spot's bad enough, but the fact that they sell it like he's basically dead on commentary makes it just all the worse. So I think that's actually the worst part of it all. But I agree with Grooney on the Arquette part of it. I kind of get maybe why he would turn, because DDP did kind of bash him in the not directly, but like kind of in a creative way, kind of bashed him in the interview earlier. So I could get why he turned on him. Obviously, it is stupid in the grand scheme of things, but like if you want to find a reason, then like he did kind of insult him earlier in the night that like he really shouldn't be here, but he is his buddy or whatever. But the funny thing about the second level, obviously they brawl around and Jarrett gets bloodied on the first level, and all that. But I felt like once DDP got to the second level, he immediately opened the door to be able to get out and go to the third level. So like they didn't waste any time. So Gruny's right about that. Like they do battle around the second level for a little bit, but he immediately cuts the bolt to the door. Like they didn't struggle over that whatsoever. He just immediately got to it. The part where they bust through the wall of level 2 was like, oh God, that could have ended much worse. And then they do like an Irish whip sequence on the outside of it again later, and it's like, what are y'all doing? Please stop. One of y'all is going to fall off of this thing, and it's not going to be a planned spot. The table spot, absolutely nuts. Trying to do that on the cage floor, which how they didn't fall through it, I'll never know. I love that Arquette seemingly abandons the plan of him trying to stay out of the way and just goes straight to the top. And obviously Mike Awesome eventually comes out and starts beating up DDP. But obviously Jarrett and DDP start to scale the final cage, and Arquette hits DDP with the guitar, and Jarrett adds a shot in there for himself, and Jarrett's the champ. So, but yeah, the spot after the match, not necessary. Definitely a bad place to do it. It's even like almost a year to the date of it happening too. So it's not even just the same arena. It's almost like the year anniversary of it as well, because both of them happened in May. So it's like you got to be smarter than that. Like somebody, even if Bischoff didn't think about it, like somebody had to have thought about it. Like Russo, he was, like you said, he was there. He was in fucking WWE at that point. He had to have thought of it, or somebody on their PR or marketing team or something like that had to fucking just be like, hey, this is the arena where this happened. Do we really want to do this? Probably not. But the match was a fine little brawl for the most part. They get bloodied up. There is some good weapon shots, but it's ultimately just a really stretched out Jeff Jarrett match, which is hardly ever a good thing. But I would say this one wasn't all and out terrible, but just you're soured by the end for sure.
If I may say, Madden was over the top with David Arquette hitting DDP with the car. Yes, way to go, champ! Way to go!
He's gonna win an Oscar.
Yes. I was like, easy, Madden. Like, Madden just came in his pants. Like, yes.
Calm down, Mark Souza.
Well,
yeah.
Well, also we said like Madden's hit rate, like he'll do like shit, but then like he'll go on a heater. We'll have a couple great lines in a row. So like, it is what it is with him. But that brings it into another episode. Before we get out, the only title that changed hands is the world title. For most absurd, I got David turning on DDP and Canyon bump in Kansas City. Anything else you guys like to add?
Yeah, just the bump at the end is what I would go with.
Yeah.
I would go with the bump. Nothing too absurd. I guess also you could say like absurd is Chris Candido botching like almost everything in his match with Prince IK. It's not all of his fault too. Also, can I bring up one more thing too? Because I remember this as well. When Henning goes out for the suplex spot, during a walkthrough, Bischoff told all the wrestlers, don't come to this spot. Obviously, Hennig knew where the pad was, so he was going to suplex Stasiak. But he said, but when he throws out his back, like, oh, my back, it was a nod to be like, gotcha, you thought I was going to ruin it for you.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty impressive. I didn't know that, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I got what was good is decent matches, like, you know.
Yeah, we actually got
not much,
some decent
but
in-ring stuff, but yeah, not
Canyon and Awesome was good.
Yeah,
that's it, basically.
Yeah.
Them
and the Steiner.
Yeah.
For what was bad, you know,
Vamp and Kidman and their horrible failed pushes.
Yeah. So we had 10 matches tonight, and we had 2 matches that were clean, and then 8 obviously non-clean or non-finishes. We had 0 pole matches tonight. So the people that said there was always pole matches here have lied. We've had 5 pole matches total. We've had 4 gimmick matches tonight. That leads us to 117. We had 3 guitar shots tonight because DDP and Jeff Jarrett both did miss, but David Arquette connected. That brings us up to 37 guitar shots total. 29 different things happened tonight. We had 1 title change hands, the world title, and we're up to 47 title changes tonight total. So pretty impressive here at 47 through 39 episodes, guys. That's mind-boggling. So, Bruni, before you get out of here, anything you like to plug, buddy?
No, yeah. Also, it'd be 4 shots because Jared also hits DDP with the guitar and connects. So you got the 2 misses. David Arquette hits the guitar, and then Jeff Jarrett hits the guitar with him too. So 4 guitar shots, buddy.
I missed that. Thank you. I didn't realize he hit him too.
Hit him with 1. Yeah.
Yep. So you got to change the guitar shot range there too. I'm always good with Jared's guitar shots.
So it's 38 guitar shots now. So thank you, Gurney.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yep. Mostly you can find me on the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed. I have 2 podcasts. One that is coming to an end soon. It's Nation Invasion, where I look back at the WCW, ECW invasion of the WWF, Alliance versus WWF in 2001. We're just wrapping that up. I have 1 more episode, the Raw and SmackDown after Survivor Series, because that takes a pivotal moment in where World Wrestling Federation storylines were going and the fallout of Survivor Series. By the time you get to SmackDown, it's basically over with. So hopefully I get that out, before everything changes as well with where everything is going to. Also, I have Extreme Resurrection on Place to Be Nation. That's with me and Steve Riddle. We are talking about ECW on Sci-Fi from 2006 to 2010, where we are in the middle of 2008, where Kane is ECW champion, and we're having the fallout of Backlash 08. Did Kane retain, or did Chavo Guerrero become ECW champion once again? So that and much more. Also, we're in the Colin Delaney trying to get a contract signing as well. I don't know if you guys remember that much, but yeah, it's getting there, And also Mike Adamle replacing Joey Styles, which is abysmal too. So we're in a bad time frame with changes going to ECW. I thought 2007 was bad with the whole Benoit thing. It's kind of getting worse as well with the ECW side of things as well. ECW does not win there, but and also on the Place to Be Nation pop feed, I have a podcast there as well. It's called Pop Goes Degrassi, or me and John Castellico. We look back at Degrassi Next Generation. We are in season 2, and we are coming up on one of the storylines is where the where Marco and Ellie start to date, but then Marco realizes that he might not actually like girls, and a whole bunch of stuff coming out of that too. So it's mostly like character development, and we're seeing where the characters are, what their storylines are going to be. You know, if I could only remember what I just watched, I can give you the rundown of it. But what I would say is character development. And that's all I really have to plug, guys. But yep, just listen to everything that's on the Place to Be Nation, whether it's us or you or even your guys' feed. You know, I always like listening to everything on the 4 or 5 groups of sister podcasts that we have.
Yeah, thank you so much, Grooney, for being on. You are our most dedicated listener. I know we've said stuff where it's like, Grooney, let me know where I'm wrong, and then you come through in the clutch. So just want to say thank you.
Yeah, he's on strike now.
I know. You're on strike. But no, I just want to say thank you so much for being on, buddy. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks where we check out, hopefully 2 weeks. We'll have to see what happens with Peacock and everything, taking stuff away. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge. If something happens, we'll figure it out. But thank you once again for listening, and have a nice night.
Bye.